Hey everybody, thanks for joining us for another episode of On Target. Today we're going to talk about the anatomy of the RSAW narrative. Everybody's very familiar with RSAWs, the Reliability Standard Audit Worksheets. A lot of people, a lot of entities spend a lot of time and resources completing the RSAW. I mentioned in a different episode about the ERT and how a lot of the emphasis is going towards the ERT and away from the RSAW. The audits are becoming more data driven, but the RSAW still plays a role. Believe it or not, there's a use for it, but it's not necessarily to the benefit of the entity. The RSAW is where the auditors make all of their notes and annotations, and they put all the things that they saw and heard and interview notes and everything. That's actually their audit papers with the RSAW. You never get to see that as an auditor or as an entity, because the auditors fill all that out and then they stick it in a file somewhere and it stays there until, well, who knows how long. But it does serve that purpose. But from an entity's perspective, filling out the RSAW should be very simple. My approach is a very minimalistic approach to it, not spend a lot of time on it, because the ERT, again, is the point of emphasis. There's a lot more work that goes into that ERT and getting it right. That evidence request tool requires a ton of data, a ton of export, formatting, making sure that that data is up to date and accurate. So the RSAW narrative is really answering the basic question of how are you compliant with this requirement? And our general approach has been to say less there and spend the effort and the time and the resources on getting the ERT to be right. Those RSAW narratives can be as simple as, here's the process, here's the procedure, this is how we comply with this requirement, and then that's it. The other use of the RSAW narrative is really to point out any anomalies. And by anomalies, I mean, if you have an open enforcement action on a particular requirement, put that in there. Hey, by the way, Mr. Auditor, there's an open enforcement action. Or hey, we have a TFE on this requirement if you're dealing with some of the SIP requirements. But by and large, writing these multi-page screenshots, evidence, these just god-awful long RSAW narratives is a thing of the past. I could see them retiring the RSAW at some point. It just really, with the advent of the ERT and the way the audits are going, the RSAW really doesn't serve a lot of purpose for the entities. Now, the auditors would obviously have to find some place to put all their audit notes, but it's definitely been a slow shift over the last few years. But we've helped a lot of entities go through a lot of audits, drafting a lot of RSAW narratives. Again, taking a very basic approach. I definitely recommend focusing your efforts on areas that actually do matter, because I'll be honest with you, as a former auditor, I rarely read the RSAW. It was only if I got really stuck on something or just couldn't make sense of it. But if it came to that, I would just ask for an interview. So the RSAW was really just a tool for me to make my notes. I didn't lean on it for a lot of information. So keep that in mind when you're looking to fill out those RSAWs in preparation for an audit. So that's the message today about RSAWs. We'll see you again on the next episode of On Target with Archer.
Stay up to date on all the videos we release here at Archer by clicking on the subscribe button. Click on the bell to be notified right away when we release new videos. Secure your company with Archer today. Visit us at archerint.com and reach out with an email or a phone call. Is there a topic or question you'd like for us to answer? If so, leave it in the comments below and tune in each Monday for a brand new episode of On Target with Archer.